A chilling confession, a desperate plea for innocence, echoes in the shadows of Tabasco. But what if the very people meant to protect you are also caught in the crossfire, or worse, targeted from within prison walls? In Tabasco, violence is no longer measured solely by the body count. It is gauged by the fear that sweeps through neighborhoods as night falls, by businesses that shutter their doors early, and by families learning to live amidst rumors of kidnappings, extortion, and executions. In this grim landscape, a new phase of criminal warfare appears to be unfolding in plain sight. A ruthless hunt between drug trafficking organizations, vying for control of the state at any cost for months. The brutal dispute between the Jalisco New Generation Cartel and the group known as La Barredora has turned various areas of Tabasco into a battleground. What began as a struggle for territories and criminal roots has escalated into a systematic persecution, with both sides relentlessly attempting to utterly destroy their rivals. One of the most recent episodes was captured in a video that rapidly circulated across social media. The disturbing footage shows two young men kneeling, guarded by armed figures dressed in black, hooded, and brandishing assault rifles. According to the disseminated material, the captors belonged to the CJNG and accused the detainees of collaborating with La Barredora. This recording reflects a common practice in Mexico's drug wars: forced interrogations used to extract information about enemies, internal structures, and the locations of rival leaders. Facing the cameras, one of the young men desperately tries to defend himself, asserting his innocence and claiming no involvement in criminal activities. Yet, the armed men persist with their interrogation. Their questions revolve around alleged La Barredora operatives and a past assassination of a prosecutor. Under immense pressure, the young man eventually mentions names and recounts supposed surveillance activities performed for members of the criminal organization. The tension mounts with every passing second. He claimed to have acted as a lookout for El Pescuezo and Tomás, even implicating himself as a lookout in the murder of the prosecutor, whose body was left on the street. Behind these accusations looms the shadow of two individuals identified as significant figures within La Barredora, known by the aliases El Pescuezo, the Neck, and Licenciado Tomás. Both have been repeatedly identified as alleged leaders of the organization, and as former members of criminal structures linked to the legacy of the Zetas, one of the most violent groups to have operated in Mexico. La Barredora's reputation has severely deteriorated among all sectors of Tabasco's population. For years, merchants, transporters, and residents of various communities have reported extortion, protection rackets, kidnappings, robberies, and acts of violence that have directly impacted civilians. This situation has fostered an unusual phenomenon. For some residents, the downfall of La Barredora members is met with indifference or even relief, regardless of who instigates it. The video continues as the armed men confidently state they have located several leaders of the rival group. They claim some are hiding outside Tabasco attempting to escape the pursuit, but warn that they will be caught and will meet the same fate as this informant. "We have located Tomás and Pescuezo. They are in Playa del Carmen. They will meet their demise." The message is brutally clear. The hunt is not limited to low-level operatives. The true targets are those who lead the organization. But the war is not confined to streets, ranches, or rural roads. It also reaches the prisons. This message is for you, Javier Valenzuela de la Cruz, alias El Cadillac, currently in Villahermosa Penitentiary. Stop threatening the guards and kidnapping their families. Days after that chilling recording, which reportedly showed the decapitation of a rival group's lookout, another video began circulating on social media. Again, armed men identified with the CJNG appeared. This time, the message was directed at an individual incarcerated in prison, Javier Valenzuela de la Cruz, known as El Cadillac. According to accusations disseminated by his rivals, he had been involved in kidnappings and criminal operations for La Barredora before his arrest. And even though he is behind bars, the CJNG asserts that he continues to wield influence and send orders to the outside. The armed men then issue a direct warning. They accuse him of threatening penitentiary guards and allegedly using kidnapping or intimidation against officials' family members to impose his will within the correctional system. In the message, members of the Jalisco's New Generation Cartel affirm their support for the guards and promise to act against anyone who tries to pressure them. "We will come for you, dogs, and kill you. And you guards, do not fear this killer of innocence. You have our full support from the CJNG. You know which number to report all irregularities to. We will protect you." The recording also mentions a series of recent murders targeting police and prison staff. According to those delivering the message, these attacks were ordered from El Cadillac's circle. While such accusations are part of a propaganda war between criminal groups and do not constitute judicial evidence, they vividly illustrate the current level of confrontation. However, the video's main objective appears to be another. The armed men dedicate a significant portion of their message to mocking Daniel Hernandez Montejo, alias LH or El Prada, who is identified as one of La Barredora's leaders. They accuse him of hiding far from the clashes while his subordinates are captured or killed. Such taunts and threats are a frequent strategy used by criminal groups to project strength, demoralize their enemies, and demonstrate control over specific territories. Each video, each execution, and each message disseminated online is part of a battle that transcends armed confrontations. It is a psychological war where propaganda becomes another weapon as crucial as rifles. Meanwhile, the civilian population remains trapped in the midst of the conflict. Although the messages speak of revenge, betrayals, and pursuits among criminals, those living in the affected areas know that the consequences are rarely limited to members of the organizations. Roadblocks, shootouts, extortion, and fear ultimately reach entire communities. Today, Tabasco watches as the confrontation between the CJNG and La Barredora enters an increasingly aggressive phase. The videos circulating on social media are merely a window into a much broader war, a struggle in which both sides strive to prove who dominates the territory. This concludes our report for today. Join us next time for more insights on Cartel Kings.